Some of you have asked me in recent videos to analyze the advantages and disadvantages of Merab Balishvili and O'Malley, and to give my opinion on what could happen in the second fight between them. Well, my gambling addicts addicted to violence, here I bring them to you. Subscribe to the channel. Remember, we already have volume 1 of these two. We're going to jinx the favorite and draw a thick veil over it, in case my prediction turns out to be wrong. I think there's no doubt that Merab's greatest strength is his wrestling and his ability to land takedowns one after another. This fighting pace allows him to pressure more than a woman wanting kids at 40, and it wears down his opponents so he can dominate them on the ground. This is, in my opinion, a significant advantage against O'Malley, who has shown over time a certain degree of vulnerability against wrestlers. Another of Balishvili's obvious and clear advantages is his cardio. This guy could fill a hot air balloon with his lung power and still have enough left to run a marathon. And that ability allows him to keep an extremely high pace throughout the entire fight, playing a crucial role in 5-round fights. But since, like Merab, he's not exactly a knockout artist or a submission specialist, he has to make sure he wins over the judges, and he does that by staying active. Merab pressures his opponents, forcing them to fight at his pace. Fighting an opponent who attacks relentlessly can hinder your reaction time. You shift from a strategic approach to seeking space, distance, and movement merely to survive and explore possibilities. This plays into your frustration and your fatigue. Aren't you prepared for an opponent like that? But clearly, the man with dyed hair also has strengths in his game. O'Malley's greatest strength lies in his striking. His reach is impressive, with arms 10 centimeters longer than Merab's, exceeding the length of a day without bread. Add this reach to the fact that he's a precision striker with quite a bit of power in his fists, and you have a very dangerous fighter. O'Malley has demonstrated excellent footwork, not just offensively to close distances and find openings, but also to maintain a comfortable range, attacking from the outside while avoiding unnecessary risks. Many people might not like it, but it's worked for Shuba. Besides, this distance is also vital for creating openings to counterattack, an area where Shan has clearly shown his quality. O'Malley possesses powerful fists, as previously demonstrated. This grants him the capability to swiftly end the fight with a solitary punch. His opponents are careful when attacking, knowing this about him. Some may argue this didn't help much in his first fight against Merab. That's a valid point, but it's also true that Merab took several hard hits. If the weapons had been more powerful, they could have been impactful. However, that wasn't so. But what are the areas that I consider weak? And let's start again with Merab. Compared to O'Malley, Merab has pillows for hands. His own record shows only 3 KOs, indicating low knockout power. Merab throws strikes to close distance and attempt takedowns, while also scoring points on the judges' scorecards. Merab is aware of this himself. And that's why, instead of acting like a certain someone and trading strikes with guys who are clearly superior in that area, he wisely relies on his wrestling. If Merab got $1 for every hit he's taken, he'd have a nice bonus. His defense has been quite questioned throughout his career. And although he's never been knocked out, some have put him in tough situations. This defensive weakness can be very detrimental against an opponent like Sean. He just needs timing and precision, and he could go down or get rocked. Although Merab is a machine when it comes to applying pressure, it must also be said that this intense way of moving forward is motivated by the fact that, for his style of taking down and punishing Rasdelona to be effective, he has to close a lot of distance, and this can become a problem. In the first fight against Shan, we saw how he could connect with him from a distance and even with some ease. If Sugar could adapt his style to counter the Georgian's wrestling, he could put him in a tough spot, which leads to the next point. Merab's greatest weapon can also be seen as a problem because while it has brought him success, it also makes him what is known as a one-trick pony. In mixed martial arts, being skilled in only one area and lacking versatility is a significant issue. Because if Sugar, with a polished takedown defense or some strategy to neutralize Merab's greatest weapon, makes it to the octagon, what we're going to see is Merab trying takedowns without success, and Shan wearing him down little by little. Shan has shown weakness against fighters who can constantly pressure him with takedowns. And what better example than what happened in the first fight between these two? According to UFC data, Sugar's takedown defense is 62%. A pretty considerable number, but it had no impact on their first fight. So either he improves, or they're going to wipe the octagon with him again. Technically, Shan doesn't have any gas tank problems. In fact, he's a fighter who uses his energy efficiently, wasting no movements or strikes. But O'Malley is used to fighting at his own pace. As we've seen, Merab is like a flea. He jumps on his opponent, and it's a real pain to get him off. If he doesn't get an early knockout or hurt Merab, like he did for example with Sterling, the accumulated fatigue can be a problem in round 4 or round 5. He also has obviously great footwork, but nothing can be perfect, as he showed us in the first fight. He can have serious difficulties when he's forced to back up and defend against constant pressure. Merab, once again, might try to corner him and prevent him from using his footwork. And this happens because Shan usually moves out to the sides or at angles and almost never backs up in a straight line. The issue is Merab's rapid takedowns target the legs, forcing him into an awkward retreat. Shan has demonstrated a high level of grappling skill, competing and performing well. However, he has only secured one submission victory in his fights. In his mixed martial arts career, he has relied solely on his striking, which has taken him far despite not being a bad thing. As mentioned earlier, leaving areas of your game unattended is unwise, as opponents will exploit those weaknesses to defeat you. That said, what could happen in the rematch? Both fighters have likely been working on their weaknesses. So many of these aspects won't be as noticeable as they were in the first fight. However, there are factors to consider. Shan has said that he has focused and left many of his distractions behind to fully dedicate himself to preparing. For instance, joints, stop it, quit doing that. Which obviously tells us about a motivated Shan who is eager to regain his title. And to get the best feeling a man can seek in life, revenge. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Merab is now the one who bears the weight of being champion and fulfilling the multiple commitments of the UFC. This doesn't mean he's not training. We've seen him train, do crazy things, and even break a finger. But I imagine his schedule can't be the same as before. I think this fight is going to be closer than the previous one. If Shan doesn't knock out or hurt Merab in the first or second round, because both of them will probably come prepared to try to neutralize each other's advantages. However, I also think that because of the way he puts on pressure and because he has Superman's lungs, Merab could come out victorious again. In this fight, I give Merab a 55% chance of winning versus 45% for Shan. It's also implied that I think Shan can knock out Merab, although I do think it has to be in the first 3 rounds. If this doesn't happen, in my opinion, it's unlikely to happen in the later rounds, although mathematically and physically possible. Obviously. Anyway, we're just days away from resolving this question and we'll see how prepared both of them are. Will Merab reaffirm his position as champion, in every sense of the word? Will O'Malley reclaim his belt and savor revenge? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'll read them. See you next time, and thanks for watching.